On this episode of the Bangkok Podcast, live from Chinatown, it is Sunday night. I've always wanted to say something like that.
So why exactly are we reporting live from Chinatown? To get to the bottom of this reported war on Bangkok's street food.
We'll tell you what we discovered on episode 2.35 of the Bangkok Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian expat who came to Thailand on a vacation in 2001 and never left.
And I am Ivo Terra, an American expat living full-time in Bangkok since the beginning of 2016. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the Big Mango.
Maybe I'm going to pose a question for you. What's different about our surroundings tonight than normally when we record?
I don't have the air conditioner on.
That's definitely true. Well, listeners, if you haven't yet figured it out, we are recording this episode live from Yaoworat, otherwise known as Bangkok's Chinatown. And we were talking about what to talk about this week, and we decided that we want to talk about street food and whether the much rumored ban has taken effect, whether it's a load of horse pucky or what's going on. So we decided what better way to look into that than actually go down, have some delicious street food and talk about it while we're there.
The only reason we had the delicious street food, listener, was because of you. I didn't want to eat.
Sure, yeah.
We were not going to do it.
Yeah, it took me a long time to talk you into it, I'm sure. And I can see you thinking about ordering that second bowl of gochujang noodles.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, there's still street food because we just had some. But we'll get into more of that in a moment. Greg, where are we?
Well, right now we are in Yaoworat Road, about midway down the road. And for those that don't know, Yaoworat is basically the main drag of Chinatown. And it's very busy, very active, very noisy. There's tuk-tuks and taxis and tour buses and throngs of tourists from every country all over the place all the time. And it's one of my favorite areas of Bangkok. I really love this area. And Ivo wasn't really sure where to go, so I decided to take you to one of my favorite places in Chinatown to eat.
Yep.
And it's actually a pretty storied place. Right now we're sitting in the lobby of a movie theater. And this movie theater is called the Chinatown Rama, or it was when it was built in about the late 1940s.
Now, stepping in here, I didn't realize I was in a movie theater until we had sat down for about 20 minutes because I thought we were just in some little enclave off of the road where some tables were set up, and then I realized behind you is what appears to be a ticket booth, and there are this giant industrial staircase going both sides in it, and now suddenly it looks like a movie theater that they decided to shove a restaurant downstairs in, and restaurant and storage area downstairs.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what's the name? Do you know the name of this place?
It's called the Chinatown Rama,
that's right.
Otherwise known as the Sri Muang Theater, I believe. And it actually, like I said, it was built in the 1940s, and originally it was an opera house, but as tastes changed, it became a cinema. And it is still running movies today. They're second-run movies. So we're looking up on the posters here. There's a poster for Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, the second Jack Reacher movie. There's a poster for the second G.I. Joe movie, which came out like 3-4 years ago.
Huh.
And a few other Thai horror movies from the looks of the posters.
Terrible.
So it doesn't show first-run films.
Yeah, no, the terrible Tom Cruise, Oblivion, equally terrible R.I.P.D. with my favorite Jeff Bridges, but my God, the movie was
I
terrible.
thought Oblivion was not bad. It was a good try.
Hollywood ending. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
The topic is street food and the war that Bangkok has declared on it. Well, we just had some, Greg.
Yeah, we did. Oh, before we go too further, also,
Yeah.
this theater doubles as a gay pickup joint. Anyway, on to the street food.
That's why you brought me here. Don't tell your wife or mine.
I am not gay, not that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, from what I've heard, this is also a bit of a nice dark room where you can meet other people for whatever. So
Well, that's a story for another time.
there you have it. Anyway, yes, we just did finish a delicious bowl of noodles, and I really like this particular brand of noodles, this particular style. They're called gochujang, and they're squares of rice noodles, and they get dropped in boiling water, and that's when they hit the boiling water, and they curl up very tightly into these little curls of noodles, and then they put them in a very peppery broth.
Oh, very peppery
Oh,
broth.
so good. And then throw in whatever you like, from crispy pork skin to lungs, tongue, and liver, although tonight we just opted for the crispy pork.
Crispy pork only.
Yeah.
Quite tasty as we've done it. So does this classify as street food? I mean, it looks like their kitchen is on the street, but we're sitting inside the theater.
Yeah, the kitchen is on the street, on the sidewalk, but the actual eating area is in the theater, although they do have a little annex outside where people sit down to eat. But we walked here. We walked 3 or 4 blocks to get here. What did you notice about the street food scene when you came up here? Was it different? Was it changed? Is it just the same way as always was?
Well, we're recording this on a Sunday night, and I don't think that I've been here on a Sunday night before. But for the listeners out there, it's not like Bangkok shuts down Sunday nights. That's not a problem here at all. Mondays is kind of a quiet place, but Sunday night is wide open. So I thought the traffic was a little bit dropped as far as overall people that were here. But again, that just could be time of day. But what I was mostly looking for was I was looking at the street vendors. I had heard that some of the changes mandated for this place, as well as Khao San Road, was a heightened awareness of hygiene and cleanliness in the form of basic wash basins set up where vendors could utilize them. Rather than just washing out their stuff in the streets and shoving it down the drains, they were going to have some, I guess, city-sponsored washing areas that the vendors could actually utilize.
Nice idea.
And that the street vendors would be wearing plastic gloves and masks over their mouths to increase, the chances of hygiene and various things. And I didn't see any of that.
That's pretty ambitious.
Seems
pretty
ambitious. Yeah, didn't see any.
I didn't see any of that either, but that being said, I did notice that it has changed since the last time I was here, which was a few months back. The first thing I noticed was that they now have a line of orange street cones down one lane of traffic, which are connected by a rope, so you can't just sort of weave in and out of them. So that sort of ropes off the outside lane of the street on one side for pedestrians, which I had never seen before. So,
and I think they've done that because the street food is still on the sidewalks.
Yeah,
the whole goal of moving food off the sidewalks, they said, was so that people with feet could actually walk on said sidewalks.
It didn't seem as busy. There were parts where it was definitely a knot of people, but it seemed to me like there had been some efforts made in cleaning it up, or at least better organizing it and not letting people leave out their supplies higgledy-piggledy all over the sidewalk.
Yeah, could be that. Right? It did look a little more well-organized, I'll give you that.
One thing I did notice, too, was that they have every 40 or so meters, they have a triplicate set of trash cans, which if you've ever been here, it's often very difficult to find a garbage can. Yes. I've walked for 30, 40 minutes holding a bag of trash before because I just cannot find a place to put it down. But now it seems like they've put out a bunch of garbage cans, which is great.
And let's classify garbage cans because after that bombing next to our place a couple of years back, they took out a lot of the trash cans. Right. But now what they've replaced them with are these wire hoops that have clear plastic bags in them. So it's more like a bag with a standy-up thing on it that you can throw in as opposed to a can.
That's how they're marketed too, the standy-up.
Standy-up thing, right. I'm nothing if not eloquent. That's what we saw, and I'm with you. I would like to see those everywhere. Hopefully it was not just, we luckily found the one. Maybe there are others in every area.
Yeah, and that's something we should say too. I mean, what we're talking about tonight is purely based on one area of town that we happen to be in tonight. So what we say tonight, our observations tonight, might not apply to every area. They might actually only apply to this area, but this is what it looks like on the street in Chinatown.
What about signage? I think you had said something as we were walking about this. They're doing more with that.
Yeah, I did notice that a couple of stalls had gone upscale when it comes to signage. I'd say a lot of them, for the most part, if you're looking at a professional sign, it's just kind of a printed on plastic with a backlight or something behind them. But I saw a couple of them that were full-on neon or backlit custom-made signs for their little stall. One that stood out to me was only in Chinese.
Well, then again, we are in Chinatown.
We are in Chinatown, but I don't think that you would see that on a street stall before. Almost every street stall, like the one outside, I'm looking at the sign for the one that we're in right now, is in Thai, and there's no Chinese on its sign.
Right.
Again, that's just one example, but I did notice that some of the stalls had gone upscale. They weren't just a card table with a gas stove and a boiling pot of whatever. They were full on, embedded sinks. Underneath, things are hidden. The cables are all tucked away nicely. So
I agree. I saw lots of new awnings to protect from rain during the night or the sun during the day.
Yeah.
And it seemed everything was really well lighted. There were lights in most places, and I don't mean just a bare bulb hanging over the grill where the guy's cooking chicken with a fan that's blowing it 40 meters away.
Yeah,
from
and I
him.
lean in to see what he's cooking, and I burn my forehead on the bare bulb that's hanging over his food.
Yeah, it did look like there has been a concentrated effort to make things, well, I guess I'll use the word cleaner, more organized, and just less of that haphazard feel that sometimes the Bangkok street food scene has had previously.
I would agree, yeah. I wouldn't say cleaner, maybe less chaotic.
Maybe that's the right word.
Because, oh, geez, a big bug landed on me. That was
Oh, my
gross.
God. Well,
So, clearly...
eat it.
Don't tell everyone. Everyone will want it. Yeah, so it seems to me that there's definitely been an effort to at least organize parts of the street food scene. As for, like, making everyone wear gloves and little tiny details like that, I mean, good luck. I think
Yeah.
that'll never happen.
Right, yeah, I don't
But,
think that's going to happen either.
I can't fault them. The food we had tonight was great. It came to our table about 40 seconds after we ordered it. And, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it within reason. But it seems to me that the changes that I've noticed in Chinatown tonight are for the better.
And it certainly wouldn't scare me off of the scene. I will not come back from this experience telling people, oh yeah, remember when Bangkok food scene was at its height, man, you could get street food all over the place, and now in Chinatown it's like half. No, none of that. I mean, if I had not been here previously, I would have just assumed this was just a great, cool street food area. It doesn't look like it's been depleted at all to me.
Right. Well, like I said, the crowds are still here. I think once you start messing with the formula too much, you're going to drive them away, and that's not what anyone down here wants. So I think that they can make changes, but only to a certain extent. Once you start forcing people to do this or forcing people to do that messes with the production line or the timing or the infrastructure that they have set up, that each stall has set up to make the food, then you're going to get a pretty big backlash.
And speaking of the production line and process each stall has, it's a process. Could you imagine coming here and getting a job? You would not be able to fit in this process. It is like we're watching behind us here is where they're cooking food. And they have, looks like about 8 large stainless steel pots that probably hold 10 gallons each, and they're all steaming. There are 2 guys back behind that are pulling food out of each of these pots. People on the other side that are requesting food, all these people that work here. There's a food prep area. There's a lady taking money, and the whole thing's working like a well-oiled machine.
Putting the money in the money bucket?
Right, yeah, the money bucket.
There's no cash register, just a wooden bucket on the table with money in it.
Yeah, and it's just a process. It's a symphony. It's an orchestration of food preparation.
Yeah, and don't forget the giant pile of crispy pork sides there.
Oh, I'm not going to forget that.
Do you think would it be weird if I just bought one of those and just kind of munched on it like a piece of watermelon on the way home in the taxi?
How long would you be to go, just one, that big thing
One
here.
bowl? No. The entire side of pork, please.
What a great thing. What a great
So,
thing.
yeah, I think, oh, hello, someone just brought a very cute little girl here. Hello, how you doing there? I think that it looks to me like the right changes are being made, at least at this point, on this street.
Right.
So,
yeah, for all of our years of investigative journalism, and by that I mean we don't really have any of that.
right.
We are here to say that it doesn't appear to us from this in-depth 3-block journey that
Hey, we took a taxi here.
That is true. That there is any danger in Bangkok street food is going away. So I'm calling that a myth at this point, but I'm reserving judgment because
Myth busted for now. Yeah,
Myth
yeah.
busted.
There's no street food ban. It's not going to happen. There might be some changes, but I think it's always going to be here. You might as well try and ban temples or something like this. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, it's part of Bangkok scene, and as you say, it's going to change, it's going to modify, but without question, we've got street food here, which is good because I think I could eat another bowl of this stuff.
You want to get another bowl?
Yes,
Another bowl of noodles?
but no.
Yes, I want one. No, that's not going to be good for Greg's digestive system.
Well, while we're out here, we might as well knock out everyone's favorite segment, or at least my favorite segment of the show, and that's something that's called Love, Loathe, or Leave. It's where one of us springs something on the other to find out if it's something that they love about living in Bangkok, something that they loathe about living in Bangkok, or they hate it so much they're actually ready to leave. And it's your time this time, my friend. What do you got for me?
Yeah, it's my turn again. Hey, didn't you make fun of me last episode about always having one ready?
I didn't. I didn't say that at all.
Did. I'll have to go and listen to that one again. But anyway, I have something that I noticed today, and I tweeted about it earlier. So if you do follow me on Twitter, you might have heard me say it already. But I was out at a lovely little park recreation area on the river today, and I was with my wife and my son, and there is a beautiful expanse of lush, thick, very green, healthy lawn. Now, when I say lawn, I mean lawn like we're used to in North America, not the crappy little green weeds that grow all over Lumpini Park that pass for quote-unquote grass
right.
in Thailand. This was real, honest-to-goodness golf course
nice
lawn.
Kentucky bluegrass or something like that.
Yes, that was
okay,
it. It was beautiful. And my son saw some birds out there, and he ran out to chase the birds, and, the sun was shining, the kid was giggling. It was just happy, happy, joy, joy. And then I noticed all around the circumference of the lawn was signs, stay off the grass. And I've seen this all over the goddamn place in Thailand. A giant expanse of beautiful, untouched, pristine lawn that no one can use.
Wow.
And I hate this. I think it's ridiculous. It's a stupid waste of space. And what's the point? Every time I've asked people, why can't I walk on there? Why can't I just go and sit, put a blanket there or something like that? Not that you'd want to do that in the direct sun anyway, but still. And no one can ever give me an answer. It's just cannot. So my question is, when you see something like this, do you love it? Do you understand the need to protect this little rare green patch of Bangkok? Do you loathe it like I do, or do you just miss parks so much that you see this and want to go back home to where they have parks where everyone can use them however they like?
Right. That definitely deserves a measured, well thought of. No, that's stupid, man. Well, I mean, if there's a green, beautiful little spot there, sit on it. I mean, it's what grass is for. To be either sat on or to whack a small white ball across, right? I mean, those are the uses we have for grass, not to look at. No one looks at their lawn. If you do, then you're that old man, should get off my lawn. But no, that's what Thailand is saying. Get off my lawn to you and your son.
That's it.
How do you say get off my lawn in Thai?
I wouldn't know how to say lawn, so I wouldn't even know where to begin. But it was very clear. And I just think why put all that work? Like, you've got a gardener crew that puts time and effort into making this thing stay looking nice.
Dumb.
And what's the point? Like,
I'm going to buy a dog and take the dog over there and say, piss right here, boy.
How do you say that in Thai?
Keep going. And write my name in Thai. That would be great.
I wonder who sullied the grass. Oh, if only we knew. What is this EVO? What does that stand for?
How do I say that in Thai? It's great.
Well, everyone, thanks for listening to the Bangkok Podcast, our special edition live from Chinatown. We got to do this again. This was fun.
Yeah,
we got to go out there,
too.
man on the street kind of thing. If you have anything you'd like to share or a topic you'd like to hear us talk about on a future show, leave a comment on bangkokpodcast.com. And also, don't forget to head to our website and rate our podcast if you can. Give it some iTunes love or some love on Google Play. Or you can reach out directly to me on Twitter, where I am BKK Greg.
Or you can send us a message either on Facebook or on Twitter. We're simply at Bangkok Podcast. I'm Evo Terra, and Greg and I will be back next week with more stories of our lives lived in the City of Angels, right here on the Bangkok Podcast. Cheers!